Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming with a couple quick decks and a deck tech for Issa's mono red control list in Modern. So this list is a little bit unique. We have 22 lands. It's more of a mid-range or Hellrider list than anything else. You have a lot of controlling tools for a mono red-ish list. You have 4 Grim Lavamancer, 4 Mog Fanatic, so you have a lot of the early creatures and early interaction covered. You have 4 Monster, Swift Spear, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Seal of Fire. Then you have 4 Relic of Progenitus here. Pretty good, being a good deck graveyard hate. Traveler's Amulet and Mycosynth Wellspring to find land drops for your kind of mana hungry deck at the top end. Beyond that, you have a Basilisk Color, which pairs nicely with the Fanatics and the Lavamancers. A couple of Faithless Lootings to filter some of your draws. Mycosynth Wellspring, like I said, to draw you some cards. Prophetic Flamespeaker, pretty decent card if you can get it rolling, especially if you pair it with Basilisk Color. You can draw a couple of cards that turn. 3 Hell Riders gives you a lot of reach, turns all your little guys into a bunch of bigger threats. 1 Pianakir and Alar, 1 Iron League Steed, which can help you go a little bit wider. Also, these cards are all paired with Pia and Kira. You can fling them at your opponent. Wellspring, especially the Traveler's Amulet, etc. And at the top end, you have a Glorybringer and a Stormbreath Dragon. Both are very powerful dragons in their own right. Slightly better in slightly different situations. Stormbreath protection from white can be relevant against Path Exile and Lingering Souls. Glorybringer gives you a little bit more of a controlling route here with its Exert ability. Valley Renet, it's a big threat, but mainly here for the mountain cycling. Once again, ability to get through your deck, thin the deck a little bit, get your land drops. Sideboard. Sideboard has a lot of green cards. 3 Guttural Spawns for control decks. 1 Destructive Revelry and Nature's Claim for artifacts and enchantments. Back to Nature for if you really hate Bogles. Ratchet Bomb's pretty good against tokens and whatnot. Sentinel Token as another pseudo graveyard hate along with Relic of Progenitus in the main. Life Goes On helps in reaching situations. Thragtusk, just a pretty good beater against attrition matchups, gains you some life in some racing matchups. And Molten Rain when you're trying to disrupt your opponent's mana, or trying to play a little bit like against Tron or Valakut, those kind of decks. Or if your opponent's playing a 3-color deck, you can kind of disrupt their mana and deal them a little bit of damage. So I'm gonna give this a couple matches, see how it does. I've already played against a Mardu Nahiri list. I have a few thoughts on the list, but I'm gonna wait and see until we play a couple more matches. I definitely like a few unique takes on Issa's thing. A lot of the creatures pair extremely well with Basilisk Color, so that would be like 1 card in the intro that kind of overperformed in the first matchup I played. Another card I'm interested to see how it does, and obviously it doesn't see much play, is Yitu Encampment. The 2/1 first strike ability and it only attacks for 2 mana. Seems pretty reasonable in this basically monocolored list. There's been a couple other cards that I thought of as we've gone through this, but I mean, this is obviously a monocolored mid-range list. You're kind of limited on some of your options, but definitely can take the controlling route in certain matchups. You've got 4 Grim Lavamancer, 4 Mog Fanatic, Seal of Fire, Lightning Bolts. So if your opponent's got a bunch of X3s or less, this list can certainly pair up and bring down some bigger stuff with things like Pianolar, Glorybringer. Some of the other cards are a little bit unique. Beyond that, don't know really what to say in the intro. I did manage to win a game off of the Mardu Nahiri list, so this deck has some power to it. I was able to power through removal and even survive an Emrakul ult, so sand seems reasonable. Next turn we get to go Swift Spear plus Relic. Or Swift Spear plus Basilisk Color, maybe? Looks like we might be up against Hollow One, so the play might in fact be Relic of Progenitus. Apologize for the background noise of the fan. Tried to minimize it as much as possible, but it is hot as bleep in Ohio right now. I'll go ahead and get our Stomping Ground just to show them we have a second color, even though I don't particularly care. Let's go ahead and blow their library right now. Opponent's like, wait, what just happened? Is it like a cathartic reunion or something? Alright, Light from the Loom, kind of a slow way to get it rolling. Swift Spear, Basilisk Collar. So they're gonna get Amalgam and Blood Gas back here, which kind of sucks. We actually just played Scavenger Grounds there. Or they can just conflag our board. Okay. So now we're... Emrakul trigger, sure. We might be too far behind here with the, Just gives us fuel in the graveyard to deal with this Amalgam if they find a way to bring it back. Oh, I could have played Hell Rider and attacked there. Oh, silly me. Oh well. May as well not compound the issue, just play Hell Rider and go. Hope they don't have Bolt or something here. No blocks. If you have Conflag for 1, you're just getting my Lavamancer here. Yep. I was hoping to get our Hell Rider instead of our Hell Rider plus Basilisk color, kind of insane. This card has overperformed in this deck. Straight up overperformed. Yep. We may still lose this game, but we do have quite a few good top decks. Alright, so opponent has to find the answer to Hell Rider this turn, or they're dead. Alright. See what our opponent decides to bring in. Definitely want Sentinel Totem here. Is there anything else we're interested in here? Not the Guttural Responses, not the Nature's Claim, not the Life Goes On. I think Ratchet Bomb's worth it because they're probably bringing in Ancient Grudges anyway. Molten Rains are a little slow. Maybe a Thragdad? And what do we go down here? One or two copies of Seal of Fire. It's not the greatest in this matchup because they're usually just bringing back their threats over and over again. Yeah. Mulligan's to 5. Mulligan's to 4. Keeps their hand. Deciding what to do with their scry here. Yep. Wow, that's quite a dredge there. They have a land, so they're gonna really get to bring their stuff back. flag rate I don't really care about. Yep, you can get all the lands you want back. So I'm pretty sure opponent's hand is like land and a couple of it's a couple of lands and a Golgari Thug. Thug has to go back on top of their deck, so I know one of their three things from Loam here. Yep. Another mountain, not really what we're looking for here. Alright, and we got there against Dredge. Thanks to the main deck, relics and such. Aeons. This is an interesting hand. Definitely interested in keeping it, though. So basically, effectively 4 lands. So Storm. Okay. Definitely feels like Storm. Two different art ops for Shame Opponent. Do need to start getting pressure in play, though. This relic will slow them down, but it's not going to stop them. Kill your goblin. Start the Mog Fanny beatdowns. Sure. This was a mistake. I should have left up another red source. Should have left up a red source to at least make them respect Bolt here. Alright. Alright. Alright, get to get rid of my board here. Pass here. It's possible I shouldn't have exerted there, because our opponent is so low on resources. Their last card is Gift Zone given. This could be a little rough. Oop. Alright, opponent scooped it up. Cool. On to the sideboard. Ratchet Bomb. Sentinel Totem. So how much credence should I give the possibility of our opponent having something like Madcap Experiment? Probably none. So what cards can get boarded out? Probably Iron League Steed and maybe the Valley Runnet. This is on the lower end of what I'd keep, mainly because we don't have any interaction for their nonsense. So this is a good hand overall, but we're kind of soft to what they have going on. I mean, we can certainly potentially put them under a lot of pressure here, but decent chance we're dead before that matters. Pump up our guys. Am I dead? Maybe. Pieces of the puzzle looking less and less likely. Pyromancer's Ascension and Grape Shot. Grape Shot's going to be a pretty decent card here. Yep. Grape Shot clear our board. Sleight of Hand, Serum Visions, or Desperate Ritual. Alright. Probably looking for Past in Flames or... Okay. More than enough stuff in our graveyard to kill us. Yeah, it's probable I'm not supposed to keep a hand there without interaction. Yeah, this hand's got plenty of interaction. Alright, feels like we're in okay shape, other than obviously grape shot. Hold up Bolton, Relic pops. I think we continue to hold up interaction here. Gifts ungiven. No shocker there, right? basically sets up lethal next turn. Yep. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch a replay of the Mardu matchup here, pretty much. So, I believe it's this one. Play game 1. So you can see a little bit different thing than combo matchups where Relic is a very good card. So, opening hand, pretty decent in this deck. Couple of burn effects, Lavamancer. Opponent leads on that. Inquisition, take our bolts. Play Lavamancer, go. Pushes it. Play Relic, start attacking their graveyard. Play Basilisk Caller. Play Seal of Fire, go. Play a little bit of draw, go until we finally hit our land. Then we pop Relic to get rid of their Lingering Souls. Still looking for our 4th land. Play our 4th land here. Get the Hell Rider rolling. Drop our opponent to 12 here. They thought sees us. Take our bolts. Should have known something was up when they take bolt and not Lightning Helix Hell Rider. Put our opponent to 9. Lingering Souls. Put us to 15. Hell Rider, another bolt. Should have attacked with Gitu Encampment there. Actually ends up coming back and being relevant. Opponent puts us to 12. Attack, force them to jump here. So opponent would have had one last spirit in play because of Gitu Encampment. It's possible I should have taken Lava Man there instead of Relic. Lava Man would actually have been damage. Note our opponent should only have 3 spirits in play right now. Opponent plays Nahiri. Discard the Dreadbore. Puts us to 3. So we currently have 6 points of burn in play. If we had a Lava Man in play instead of this Relic, we'd be in better shape. Draw Scavenger Grounds and then concede. So, a couple different decision points I had there. Might have made the difference in the win. Game 2 ends up coming down to our opponent Emeralds us, and then we're able to recover with bolt into bolt to kill them. And then the third game kind of has some back and forth stuff to it. Just showing you like some example of the grindier aspects of things. So there's a lot of things I like about the deck. There are some things that I'm like a little questionable on. Like, I'm sure Asa has his reasons. The cards I will note that overperformed in this shell. Basilisk Caller overperformed. Gitu Encampment overperformed. Scavenger Grounds overperformed. I could easily see running a second copy of each. Basilisk Caller pairs insanely well with Prophetic Flame Seeker, Does very well with Mog Fanatic and Grim Lavamancer. Hellrider obviously is pretty insane, especially when you're pairing it with Basilisk Caller. You know, you're getting triggers, gaining life. There's a couple of the cards that I'm like, they're one-ofs, so I'm not going to get like too particular on them. But, like, Wellspring seems fine. Traveler's Amulet seems fine. Both of those are a little bit questionable. Iron League Siege, I understand you're trying to like go wider for Hellrider. That and Valley Renette, it's like, I understand where you're trying to go with these cards, but there's like, even for a budget red deck, or a budget-ish control red deck, like, I would like having more copies of Glorybringer or Stormbreath Dragon in this slot, or copies of, another copy that is reasonable, is Abbot of Carroll Keep. I have it pulled up here already, but basically it's a 2/1, you can play for 2, you know, it exiles a card, whatever, or in the mid to late game, you can play it, you know, if you haven't made your land drop yet, you hit a land, you can play the land off of it, or you can hit a spell. Gives you a little bit of like more in the attrition-y matchups. The 3 matchups I played, obviously we handled Storm, we handled Dredge pretty well with the main deck relics. I don't know if 4 is the right number, but I can understand, you know, they're a cantrip, they allow you to disrupt combo decks. Those are perfectly reasonable. Prophetic Flame Speaker, this guy ever connects, he's pretty insane, but the old dies to removal problem, I don't know if there's a way to like give him haste without like distracting from the deck. So I'm thinking like maybe him, the Steed, the Renette, like maybe like a couple copies of Abbott. I don't know. There's a couple of things in the deck I'm just like, okay, that's kind of cool. Gitu Encampment having first strike is relevant, especially against like Lingering Souls and stuff. So I might like a second copy of Gitu Encampment, a second copy of Scavenger Grounds. Rest of the main deck, I don't like. The Steed and the Valley Renette are kind of, I don't know. I guess they're kind of flex slots. I do like a second Basilisk Caller. This Wellspring, you know, thinning the deck, pairs well with P and Kieran. Obviously the Hellriders performed well when they weren't immediately killed. And the sideboard, you have a smattering of different hate cards. I can respect that. Guttural Spawn's pretty good against the blue decks, which we didn't play one of those matchups. Molten Rain performed fairly well in the Mardu matchup. Thragtusk obviously pretty decent against grinding. And the rest of the cards, obviously it makes sense to have some amount of hate against artifacts and enchantments, especially things like Bogles or Leyline of Sanctity, etc. Might want a copy or 2 of Roast to deal with bigger creatures like Death Shadow or the like. Although I suppose Relic does pretty good of keeping Tarmogoyf in check. So seems like you got a pretty good list here, Issa. Couple things that if I were running it, I'd probably change, but you know, you have your reasons for running the various cards, so I'll respect that and just, you know, sign off with those recommendations. Maybe, you know, the slight changes that I said. The Basilisk Caller pairs extremely well with all the pinging effects, the Lavamancers, the Mog Fanatics, the PN Kieran Alars, the Glorybringers. You know, so something to consider. That was one of the cards that definitely overperformed. Scavenger Grounds in those matches we played was obviously pretty reasonable. Beyond that, pretty sweet deck. Got to play a couple matches with it here. That's about my feedback on it, Asa. Hope that helps out, and I hope I will get your feedback in the comments. This has been Dust for Dusted on Gaming with Mono Red Midrange Control in Modern.